Hello everyone. We'll be discussing about epigenetic modifications. We'll divide this topic into 4 subtopics. So in the first we'll discuss about DNA methyltransferases and methylation. In the second one we'll discuss about genomic imprinting. In the third one we'll discuss about chromatin conformation, methylation and histone code. And in the fourth one we'll discuss about X inactivation. So we'll start with DNA methyltransferases and methylation. So here we can see the cytosine residue which is present on the DNA. DNA has 4 nucleotides. So one of the nucleotide is cytosine. So cytosine is methylated at 5th position, and this becomes 5-methyl cytosine. So DNA methyltransferases, they bring about the methylation of cytosine. So we have DNMT3A, DNMT3B, these are de novo methylases, and DNMT1 is the maintenance methylase. We shall see it in the subsequent slides. And we have TET1, 2, 3, these are 10, 11 translocases. These bring about active demethylation. So DNA is modified by methylation of the 5' position of the cytosine base by DNA methyltransferases, as we saw here. At 5th position, the methyl group is added in the cytosine residue. Only cytosines whose downstream nucleotide is guanine. So we have CpG sequence. So CpG sequence is can be methylated. So we can see here there are a lot of CpG sequences which have the methyl residues. Methyl group lies in the major group on the outside of the DNA double helix, therefore doesn't interferes with base pairing. And methyl group X as a signal recognized by specific methyl CpG binding proteins. And these proteins have a role in regulating chromatin structure and gene expression. And methyl CpG also has an important role in epigenetic memory. So we have seen CpG islands, wherever the CpG nucleotide is present, the cytosine is prone for methylation. So here we can see this is the cytosine residue. This is DNA methyltransferase. The co-substrate is S-adenosyl methionine, which gets converted into S-adenosyl homocysteine, and the methyl group is added to cytosine base to give 5-methyl cytosine. Now cytosine methylation is done by DNA methyltransferases. In short, they are referred as DNMTs. Humans have 3 functional DNMTs. So we have 3 functional DNMTs. 4th DNMT3, because these 3 functional DNMTs, they bring about methylation of DNA, and others we'll see. 4th DNMT3L helps to target the methylase to appropriate sequences, and 5th DNMT2 is RNA methylating enzyme which has structural resemblance to DNA methyltransferases. So of the 3 functional DNMTs, DNMT3A and DNMT3B, we saw in the first slide that DNMT3A and DNMT3B are de novo methylases. Are de novo methylases means they are capable of methylating suitable CpG sequences. We shall see how they work. They have important role to play in genomic imprinting. And DNMT1 specifically targets hemimethylated CpG sequences. We shall see this also during DNA replication. DNMT1 helps in resuming the methylated signatures of CpG islands, and it is functional during DNA is replicated, and then arises when methylated DNA is replicated. So this is a table which shows the methyltransferases and their major functions in the cells. So we have DNMT1. This is a maintenance methylase. We have DNMT2. This brings about methylation of cytosine 38 in tRNA, and DNA methylation activity not found. So DNMT2 is, we saw this DNMT2 is RNA methylating enzyme. This is DNMT3A. This is DNMT3A is a de novo methylase. DNMT3V is a de novo methylase, and DNMT3L, it binds to chromatin with unmethylated H3K and stimulates the activities of DNMT3A and 3B. So when we'll discuss about methylation of chromatin and histone code, then we'll deal with H3K and other histones which have important role to play in heterochromatin, euchromatin and the promoter region to bring about the promoter activity and transcription, or making the part of the DNA silent and inaccessible to any kind of transcription machinery. So this will talk about DNMT1. So this is DNA methylation during DNA replication. So here we can see these are parent strands. So this is parent strand, both of them blue and red. Now during DNA replication, one of them is leading strand and one of them is lagging strand. And in the DNA replication, as we can see, this is the template strand from which the new strand is formed. All of us know that DNA replication is brought about by DNA polymerase. So, and methylation is post replication phenomenon. So it cannot be done with DNA polymerase. So here this is a template strand, this is the new strand, and we can see these CG, 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 CG. The template strand has methylated residues, but the new strand is unmethylated. Here also we can see this is blue one is the template strand and the red one is the newly replicated, newly synthesized strand, which is unmethylated. Now here we have important role of DNMT1, which is maintenance methylase. So whatever CPG islands or CPG sequences which are methylated in the template strand, DNMT1 helps to maintain the same methylation pattern in the newly synthesized strand. As you can see here, this red one, it has methyl group here. Now with the help of DNMT1, these methyl groups are added to the newly synthesized strand. Here also and in this strand also. So DNMT1 is a maintenance methylase which brings about, or we can say it maintains the pattern of DNA during the cell division or during the process of mitosis. So specific sequences which are methylated at CPG residues, they are maintained as such during the mitotic cell division with the help of DNMT1. So during DNA replication, methylated DNA is symmetrical, that is 5' CPG, 3' of one strand is paired to 5' CPG, 3' to the other. As DNA methylation is a post-replicative phenomenon, therefore DNA replication results in incorporation of complementary but unmethylated CPG on the newly synthesized strand. The maintenance DNMT converts these hemimethylated sequences into their fully methylated counterparts, and DNMT maintains epigenetic memory by enabling patterns of CPG methylation to be maintained intact through DNA replication through mitosis, because it is very important that during mitosis the methylation pattern should be maintained as such, which is there in the parent cell. So whatever daughter cells are produced in the body from the parent cell, the same methylation pattern is maintained with the help of DNMT1. Now cell has to make developmental decisions in response to signals, and they along with their daughter cells also need to remember those decisions after signals disappear. So we have de novo methylases, they are DNMT3A, DNMT3B. So DNMT3A and DNMT3B, they are de novo methylases, and they work when we get epigenetic signatures for when the cell basically in the initial stages, when the zygote is formed and the methylation pattern of the parental cells, they have to be maintained. Then we have important role of DNMT3A, DNMT3B. This we shall see in the genomic imprinting, because we tend to inherit the imprint patterns from our parents. So during the initial development of the zygote and during the initial cell divisions of the embryo, these de novo methylases, they have important role to play, and after the DNA methylation pattern is set in a particular cell type, then DNMT1 helps to maintain the same methylation pattern throughout the life cycle. And methylated DNA, whatever DNA is methylated, it tends to be transcriptionally inactive. So whatever DNA is methylated, it will not transcribe. So the DNA becomes inactive, whatever is methylated by DNMT3A, DNMT3B, and DNMT1 helps to maintain the same methylation pattern, and its target is hemimethylated DNA. As we saw in the previous slide also, this is hemimethylated DNA. One strand is methylated but the other strand is unmethylated. So its target is hemimethylated DNA. So DNA methylation involves methylation of proportion of cytosine residues giving 5-methyl cytosine. Dinucleotide CPG is common target for cytosine methylation by specific cytosine methyltransferases forming MCPG. MECPG also is there, and in some texts it is MCPG. It has important consequences for gene expression and allows particular gene expression pattern to be stably transmitted to daughter cells. Vertebrates have the highest level of 5-methyl cytosine in the animal kingdom. But in human genome, we have less M methylated CpG. Because methylated CpG in our genome is unstable, so after this 5-methyl cytosine is formed, it tends to deaminate, and deaminated cytosine becomes thymine. So in our in human genome, there is less abundance of CpG sequences, but they are predominant near the promoters. So 5-MC is unstable and prone to deamination, so it converts into thymine. And other deaminated bases are corrected by DNA. Apart from cytosine, if methylation occurs at other bases, it is corrected by DNA repair machine. But 5' methyl cytosine is deaminated to give thymine. So CpG islands are gene markers, as they are transcriptionally active regions. CpG islands are there, but these CpG islands are non-methylated. We shall see them in the subsequent slides. Now, mammals have 70% of methylated CpG sequences. However, in many organisms, including plants, CpG methylation is concentrated on repeat sequence. Repetitive sequence is the important part of heterochromatin and the dispersed transposons. Even in our body, in heterochromatin and dispersed transposons, majority of the DNA is methylated and the DNA is transcriptionally inactive. So, DNA methylation at repeated sequence may be important in repressing transcription. Highly methylated DNA regions are prone to adopting a condensed chromatin conformation, but for actively transcribed DNA, the chromatin needs to be more extended, open, unmethylated conformation. That allows regulatory protein to bind readily to promoters in other gene control regions. So, the methylated DNA is present in condensed chromatin conformation, but for actively transcribed DNA we need to have the transcription machinery in place, so it is open and unmethylated conformation which will allow the transcription to occur. So here we can see this is S-adenosylmethionine, this DNA. Here this is promoter which is methylated. So methylated promoter will result in silencing of the gene. So whatever promoter is methylated, or the part or downstream or upstream sequences of the promoter, if they are methylated and they don't allow the binding of other factors which are required for transcription, it will result in the silencing of the gene. Or we call it imprinting. If that pattern is maintained from parent to daughter cell, we call it imprints. So in human genome, CpG dinucleotide is less frequent due to tendency of methylated cytosines to deaminate to thymine. We have just discussed about this. An exception is CpG islands found at the promoter of many genes, because these have high proportion of CpG, but they are protected from DNA methylation. So this aspect we shall see when we will discuss about chromatin methylation and the histone code. So now what will happen if some of the genes which are actually methylated in our genome, they somehow become non-methylated? Let's say this is tumor suppressor gene. So tumor suppressor gene actually in our cell has to be demethylated. It has to be active for the suppression of the tumor. What will happen if that becomes methylated? So if that becomes methylated, the gene will be silenced. So this DNA methylation plays very important role in the transcription of the gene. So when CpG islands acquire DNA methylation, it results in shutting down of transcription, as in many inactive X chromosome or imprinted gene. So with this part we'll discuss in X chromosome inactivation, and this we have discussed. Methylation of CpG islands associated with tumor suppressor gene is characteristic of cancer, and developmental switching on and off of transcription of the gene is also due to variable methylation, and some viral latency may also be related to DNA methylation. So let's say virus is present and the DNA of the virus is methylated, it will remain silent. Whenever the methylation part becomes demethylated, the genes will be active. Same thing occurs in our body also, and is responsible for multiple diseases. One of the important diseases, cancer. Now here we see there are two enzymes, group of enzymes. One is DNMT, other is 10-11 translocase. This is TET. So we have TET1, TET2 and TET3. These two act antagonistic to each other. So as you can see, DNMT brings about the methylation, but this TET it brings about demethylation. So the discovery of 1011 translocation enzyme was one of the biggest recent discovery in epigenetics. They provided a mechanistic basis for mostly hypothetical pathway active DNA demethylation. The enzyme are named for a common translocation in cancers because it brings about demethylation of the proteins which were otherwise methylated. So it basically interferes with epigenetic modifications and brings about the activation of the genes which were earlier suppressed. It is important enzyme because it is also important during embryo implantation and all. But here for some of the genes, the methylation and demethylation pattern has to be maintained very efficiently. So these are selected references which you can follow up.